Alpha Sessions with Alan Joyce.
So this is the Alpha Sessions, and with me now I am very pleased to welcome to the Alpha Sessions studio Lea Baruffato. Welcome along.
Welcome.
Lovely to have you here.
No, thanks to you for having me.
It's really brilliant to have you in the studio. Lots to talk about today. We've had a long chat before we've started this interview, and I'm sure some of it will come on too again. But the first thing we have to really start this interview with, and it's an obvious point really, is that you're originally from Argentina.
Yeah.
And as we're recording this, we're not long since the end of the World Cup. And that must be a pretty amazing feeling right now, as someone from Argentina, to be able to look back and say, world champions.
Actually, yes.
You're allowed to gloat, don't worry.
Okay,
We're still dreaming of it.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but...
No,
yeah,
go on, brag, go on.
Is.
Tell us how it feels. We don't know.
It feels really good.
Yeah?
Feels really good. Funny thing, I was listening to the match while I was at the airport. My flight got delayed, so basically, thankfully, thanks Ryanair for that. Yeah. Can I mention brands here?
I mentioned them all. That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Other airlines are available. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, because the flight got delayed, I was able to hear the whole match, and I was the only crazy guy at the airport, like celebrating, and say, "Yeah, world champions!"
Yeah.
And finally, after 30-something years, 30.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a long time to us, you know. We've waited a lot longer than that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, great to see Messi finally lift the World Cup as well. I mean, just give us an insight into how big a deal that is in Argentina. It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Because it was the last remaining award that he needed to win. I mean, and that's it. That's it. I mean, the guy is the greatest of the greatest.
Yeah.
Not because it's Argentina, but it's like, never had won all the trophies.
Yeah.
Actually, the other day I was reading that he's just only one cup from Dani Alves, and that's it. That's the last remaining goal that he needs to get in his career. But yeah, amazing. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
I'm sure you were. Gutted you probably didn't get to actually watch it as it was happening, but
no, I didn't have the chance. But you know what? I had the chance of being at the Finalissima at Wembley.
Wow.
Where they played against Italy, and I'm half Italian.
Yeah.
My father is Italian, my mom is Argentinian. So before the match, I called my dad. I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna go to the match. Who should I support?" It was like,
whoever's winning.
Do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, yeah.
I mean, who would you support out of the two, or do you support them both, basically?
I was actually enjoying the match. Because I grew up in Argentina, it's like, I wanted Argentina to win, but if that wouldn't happen and Italy would have win the competition, I mean, would have been okay for me.
I mean, we won't talk about football the whole interview, but I think it's worth noting, having grown up in Argentina, like you were saying before, that it's a real unifier there, isn't it? Everyone gets behind the team, no matter what sort of background they're from. It's the one big thing that unites everyone in Argentina. Yeah.
It's like when Argentina is playing the World Cup, it's like the whole country. It's 100% supporting all the players. So yeah, that was a really, really nice vibe. Obviously I was not there, but I've seen videos. For example, I don't know if you have seen that big celebration where the obelisk is in Argentina, which is in Buenos Aires, the capital of the country. And actually that avenue over there, I think is one of the widest of the world.
Wow.
But it's called 9 de Julio. And it was fully packed of people. I don't know, thousands and thousands of people in that, all celebrating that. It was amazing. I've seen that video featured on the Rolling Stone account. I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. Of course I was not there, but
one hell of a party, that's for sure. It'll probably go on for years to come anyway, so next time you go back, they'll probably still be partying over there.
Probably.
So as you mentioned, you're also half Italian as well. So growing up, where did most of your musical influences come from?
Actually from here.
Really?
Yeah, and the States as well. So I grew up listening to British bands, classic rock. I love Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. all the stuff, and then of course American bands as well. But yeah, so for me coming to London and being doing music here was like a all-time dream.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was always listening to these bands and I was like, oh, that must be so cool being in London back in the 70s and all this stuff. And yeah, and now that I'm here, it's like, yeah.
And are those sort of bands really big in Argentina, or is it just something that you discovered?
No, actually, it is. The classic bands, classic rock, they are pretty big in Argentina. They have a massive support. I remember that AC/DC recorded a live DVD of their gig. They were touring. I think it was 2009, something like that, and they recorded a whole DVD in River Plate Stadium, which is a club, one of the biggest clubs in Argentina, and they have done that because the crowd was so crazy. And I've heard stories. I was not there, of course, but I've heard stories that because of all the stadium was jumping during the songs, you can feel like vibrations on the floor, even like half a mile away from the stadium.
Wow!
So like some sort of earthquake, because of the movement of the 60,000 people jumping all the time. That was crazy.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's like all those classic bands. They have a lot of support back there in Argentina. I would say in most of South America, because Brazil as well. It's a really good market for those bands as well. I think the Stones, they have done a gig with like 1 million people or something like that. It was like some sort of Guinness record that they have done it on one of the beaches in probably Rio de Janeiro, I guess. So yeah, we have been exposed to that music quite a lot.
So at what point growing up did you suddenly decide, okay, that's what I want to do? I want to go into music as a thing.
The story how I got into music was it's pretty emotional for me, because I remember I used to go to visit my grandma, and in there at my grandma's house was my older cousin living, and he was a guitarist.
Right.
So I was always sneaking to his room. I was not allowed, of course, and grabbing his acoustic guitar. And of course, I didn't know how to play, so I was doing like the for the 6 strings, like the open chord, and I was like, I instantly got like captivated with that sound. I was like, oh wow, this is so crazy. Years later, he became my guitar professor. So basically, I know how to play guitar because of him, because of my cousin. So I owe him big time, big time. And yeah, and I remember that he used to have a poster in his room. It was the album cover of Kiss Dynasty.
Yeah, wow.
With the 4 faces.
Yeah.
And I was always in shock with that, because it was I was kind of scared and curious at the same time. So of course, one of the first bands that I started listening to was Kiss. So yeah, and because I also have older siblings, so I've been always exposed to music that was not from my generation, because I was listening to music from my older siblings. Yeah. So that's how I became into classic rock and all the stuff, and yeah, I loved it. And
then did you make a decision, because obviously you've fairly recently relocated to London, haven't you? But
4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I gather you didn't come straight to London. You lived in Spain for a while as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So basically, when I decided to emigrate, to move away from Argentina, my first stop was Spain. Was the easiest one, because it's the same culture, the same language.
Yeah.
I mean, Spanish is my native language. And then I was there for half a year or so, and then I decided that I wanted to do something like bigger with my career and improving my songwriting as well. So that's the reason why I came to London, which was a pretty huge cultural shock for me at the beginning.
And you didn't speak English when you moved to London?
No, actually, well, okay. I used to think that I could speak English until I landed here, and I was like, say that again, all the time. Now, yeah. I used to speak English from before, but yeah, it took me some time to get used to all the accents that there are here, and slang words, and people speaking really, really fast. So yeah, it was pretty challenging at the beginning.
Massive challenge, but well done for you to persevering anyway. And in terms of your music, presumably did you write a lot in Spanish initially before you started writing in English?
Yes. I used to write some stuff in English as well, but yeah, it's just like what you said. And then I came here, and of course, I wanted to reach the local market, which is in English. So I started to collaborate with people, with other songwriters, and that's how I put an EP out there, which is mostly, well, there are some songs that I wrote, just me. But yeah, I'm always trying to collaborate and writing with other songwriters, which is something that I really enjoy. That I really like to get into sessions and start crafting a song from scratch, and sharing ideas, and getting surprised as well with the direction that a song can come up with. So yeah. That's one of my favorite things.
We're going to find out more about your songwriting process shortly, but you've performed 3 brilliant tracks for us here in the studio today.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about one of them now, because we were talking obviously before about your family, and one of the tracks you performed for us was a track called My Hero,
yes,
which is for a very close member of your family, isn't it? Tell us more about that one.
Well, that song is probably one of the most emotional and one of the most important that I wrote. Again, it's about the only idol that I have in my life, which is my father. So it was my way of paying tribute to him and saying all things that I barely said with words to him, because I'm coming from that culture that you need to be a man and don't show emotions and stuff. Okay, trying to change that. And so basically I decided to put all my emotions in a song, in those lyrics, and the funny thing, I mean, okay, it's not funny, it's just something really nice, that most of the times when I'm playing that song live, someone will come up and say, oh, man, I love the song, it reminds me my father. So I've been able to connect with people, random people, because of that, because of those lyrics, and that's my aim. I mean, it's one of the best, how do you say, the best outcomes of being a songwriter, when you can connect with someone with a piece of music that you wrote, and it's moving someone else. It's kind of generating an emotion inside of a people that doesn't know you and have no relationship with you, but because of that, now you have a connection. So that's amazing. That's why I've always felt so glad. You've always been my hero, Dad. Dear Dad, you were the greatest guide I could want in this life. The strongest man on earth, the toughest guy in town, but the kindest soul to have around. That's why I've always felt so glad. You've always been my hero, Dad. You've always been my hero, Dad. You've always been my hero, Dad. That's why I've always felt so glad. You've always been my hero, Dad. You've always been my hero, Dad. You've always been my hero, Dad.
The Alpha Sessions with Alan Joyce.
I think the song is wonderful because I think it's just so powerful how you can just sort of say out loud, sort of basically, "You're my hero, I love you, Dad." That, you know, it really spells it out, and it's something that we should all be saying more. So yeah, it's a wonderful track.
That was my aim, to be honest.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we've obviously talked a little bit about where you've grown up and where you've moved to, but on your Instagram recently you posted that you'd just been to your 30th country. I mean, you are travelling a lot. So talk about some of your highlights of the places that you visited. Where would you say was your favourite?
Oh, my favorite. I get that question quite often, to be honest. But yeah, I love to travel. I love to learn from different cultures and expose myself to those environments. And I'm a pretty curious person, so that's the reason why. I wouldn't say that I have a favorite. I love every single place that I've been to. Probably there are some places that I would return, but I'm always trying to go somewhere else, some place different that I've never been before, just to get more experience, more information, and I don't know, learning something new every day, and not every day, I mean in every travel. So yeah, I don't have a favorite one. Places that I could return, yeah, but probably because I haven't seen everything that I wanted to, because I didn't have time or anything. But apart from that, it's like I'm a super curious person. So I was like, yeah. For example, this year I'm still thinking, I don't know how I'm gonna do it or where to, but I would like to go to Asia, for example. That I've never been there before, and I would like to see how life is in there, how people, manage relationships with each other, how's the culture, and everything, and feel the vibe as well. So yeah,
And have you had a chance to perform at a lot of these countries that you've been to?
Some of them, but most of it. For example, this last trip that I've done, that I went to the Baltics, I didn't bring my guitar. Mostly because right now traveling with a guitar is quite inconvenient, and it's not that easy with the planes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I was just exploring, and as I've told you before, one day I broke my record. I've done 40,000 steps in a day. It's like, that was crazy.
That is a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I was walking and getting lost in the city and exploring. So yeah, didn't have the time for setting up a gig. But I would love to return and play a gig in those countries. Yeah, why not?
And I noticed that when you published your Spotify figures for the end of last year, your most listened to country is Spain, actually, which obviously makes sense because you've spent a significant amount of time there. But did you get a chance to play a lot when you were in Spain?
Actually, was surprised. Because I'm not singing in Spanish. So yeah, but people, I don't know, some people from there, they're streaming my songs, which is something really cool. And actually this year I'm planning to start writing more in Spanish. My aim or goal, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this year, but I would like to put an EP completely in Spanish as well. So having both, an EP in English, an EP with different songs in Spanish. And take it from there, because I mean, I like Spanish. I like the Spanish language as well, as much as English, and I would like to explore that. I mean, my songwriting on that side as well.
And what would you say the contrast is like for sort of like a British audience compared to other places in the world that you've performed at? Because you're very up close with a lot of the British audience, because you do busking, which we'll come on to more in a minute. But how do you find the sort of interactions with the audience here compared to, say, back home in Argentina?
The thing is that the music that I do in Argentina was not working so well. I mean, it was not the right market in Argentina, so that was one of the reasons why as well I decided to try somewhere else. What I found that in here, people, they tend to appreciate more that genre, the singer-songwriter genre, and soft rock, pop rock, which is something that I do, which I was not having that much luck in my home country. So that's the thing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, and thankful and grateful, with all of that.
Well, we'll come on to the busking, as I say, very shortly. But let's hear another one of your tracks now. You played for us a track called Your Grace. So tell us a bit about this one. Well,
basically, that's a love song. I'm just trying to paint the picture of how it feels when you are in love with someone, and you're grateful that that person comes to visiting you, and all those emotions. So it's quite descriptive. I've used a lot of imagery, and I'm gonna play the short version without the solo and stuff like that. Super stripped down acoustic, but I released the fully produced version of that one, and then I've also came up with acoustic, the stripped down version that is on my Spotify. But yeah, let's give it a go. Here today, your touch makes me feel at ease. I love the moments that we both share as we laugh in the summer breeze. Hold on to feel what I feel right now, 'cause you know your beauty makes my spirit soar. Gotta know you can trust me, there's nothing now that can stop me. I just wanna love you for sure. Oh, your grace, I need your grace. I love you tenderness, and baby, I need your grace. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Butterflies dance in the warm breeze. I wouldn't change a single thing. I'm so glad that you are here with the love and joy that you bring. Being with is the sweetest thing. The air is filled with such delight. When I look into your eyes, I am caught by surprise. Gonna make you love me tonight. Oh, your grace, I need your grace. I love you tenderness, and baby, I need your grace. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need your grace.
The Alpha Sessions with Alan Joyce.
Yeah, that was a track called Your Grace. Really enjoyed listening to that one. And actually what I love about what you do, which I talked to you about just before the interview, is the fact that on Spotify you release acoustic versions of quite a few of your songs. Is that something that you think you'll carry on doing?
Yeah, I think I'm always going to try to do both, because I mean, at the end of the day, 90% of the times that I'm writing songs, they start with an acoustic guitar and my vocals, and then from there we start to dressing the songs up with different instrumentations and arrangements with a producer, which I'm always co-working with him. So it's really nice to have like the bigger version of the song, which is the fully produced one. With it's something that you can go back and listen to several times just to find different arrangements and sounds and instrumentations that you are not gonna be able to to realize that they are there in the first listen. But I also love the most pure and stripped down version of music, which is just a vocal in the guitar. That is something that has been captivating me since some years, I would say.
Do you find then when you're writing songs that you actually don't think of like the end result of the studio version? You actually write it as a stripped back acoustic song, and then afterwards you kind of work on how that could sound like a full band, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. That's lately that is my process for writing songs that they are from my artist project. But saying that, I've been in collaborations with other songwriters for different projects, like for example Briefs, and it depends on the genre, but for example for mainstream pop or EDM-ish and stuff like that, so most of the time you start the opposite way. You start with a backing track or a beat, something like that, and then you start crafting the lyrics and the top line melodies for that backing track, which is gonna be like the finished version mostly of how the song is gonna sound at the end of the day.
So generally speaking, would you say you start with lyrics more than melodies, or does it not always work that way?
Both. It depends on what happened first. most of the times I like to start with a lyrical theme, for example, like if I have a song title, and I start developing the idea from there, and then music comes to. There is something that is called prosody, which is when the lyrical theme match the music. So it has to have a balance and a connection, and they have to match each other. Some of the times it's the opposite. For example, that I come up with a riff or a chord progression in the guitar that I really like it, and that sparks some I don't know, creativity, and then and top line melodies, and the latest of the process, it's adding lyrics to that. So yeah, it's like there are different approaches, to be honest. There's no like absurd just one rule. There's not one process, and okay, you need to do it this way, and steps may happen. Anything, I mean.
And would you co-write with other? Have you done that as well? Sort of co-writing with other artists?
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah. With other, most of the times with other songwriters, and I've done with other artists as well. I was last year by September. I was in a songwriting camp in Morocco, Marrakesh, and basically I was co-working with songwriters and songwriters that they were artists as well. So yeah, I've done quite a lot. I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Now, actually, before we started this interview, you were telling us about how you heard about the Alpha Sessions, and I know that you're quite heavily involved with a number of the buskers in the London scene. In fact, one of your regular spots is under the London Eye at Waterloo, just down the road from where I work. So I'm sure I've probably seen you at some point there. But I know you've worked alongside the likes of Charlotte Campbell, who's been a former guest here at the studio. So tell us about how you find the whole busking London thing, and what's the busking scene like from your side?
Well, basically, it's a huge community. I know quite a lot of them. Probably not like everyone that is in this scene, but because it's huge, it's a really big group, I would say. But I really like it, to be honest. I'm feeling part of that movement and community. It gives me like some sort of belonging thing, and feeling that you are part of that community, you're part of that movement. That probably, I don't know, a lot of people would like to be part of it, like to be part of a community in London of musicians, stuff like that. And I remember this because I was feeling this when I was living in my home country, and I was always like seeing that, and I was like, that's so really that is so cool. That's so cool, and now I'm part of that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Is it quite an easy thing to get into busking London, or is there a long waiting list? What's the process?
No, it's not easy at all right now. Sadly, for busking in London right now, you need to have licenses. There are like 3 different licenses that you will need if you want to busk around London. One is for busking at the South Bank. You need to go to auditions. You need to wait until the auditions they are open. If you want to do the train stations, for example, it's a whole different license that you need to have. That's from busking London again. The auditions, they are open like every second year or something like that, I guess. Probably the easiest one is like if you want to busk in Westminster, again, I think they are not running any auditions. You just pay for the license and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not like the good old days that you were just I don't know, popping by and start playing music over there. I mean,
I think that's the thing that a lot of people misunderstand, isn't it? You don't just rock up with your guitar and plonk yourself in front of the London Eye.
No.
From what I gather, from what I hear, for one thing, you spend probably most of the day in a queue waiting.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why I guess you have that community, because during all the waiting time, you're all hanging out with each other, presumably, and looking after each other's guitar cases or whatever it is. So how does it work then? You all rock up at sort of whatever it is, 9 o'clock every morning, and you allocate slots between yourself?
Yeah, basically it's a queue process, first come, first serve. And when it's a busy day, sometimes you end up waiting 6 hours for a slot to play. So yeah, it's a whole day thing. You need to be there around and waiting, and that's how you get in touch with all the other artists as well. So it's hard because of that, but the other side is like, yeah, at least we are hanging around with like-minded people.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
Have there been any sort of highlights in terms of what's happening whilst you've been busking? Anything that stands out? Any funny moments?
I have tons of crazy stories that happened to me that I'm not gonna be able to replicate here. But yeah, I mean, it's like while you're on the street, you see literally everything. I've came across aggression, people stealing money from my guitar bag, but then people coming up with a coffee as a gift for me, or people hugging me, for example, because I was singing a song that meant something for them. So yeah, it's pretty much everything. It's like good and bad things. You can find everything.
I guess you have to be quite thick-skinned. I mean, yeah, it can be amazing, but equally there are going to be days where it's quite tough, I guess, where maybe you don't make so much money or you have a few negative interactions.
Something that someone said this word to me a long time ago. It's like, you become a tough cookie.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah.
And I guess that's why having that community of other buskers who get it, who have been there, who can encourage when you've had one of those days is important.
Yeah, we support each other. Because when, one of the artists, they're having a bad time or something like that, there's always someone around that's gonna try to help and give some words of encouragement.
And is there a favourite place that you have to busk?
Well, I really like the South Bank, to be honest. It's like became my second home by now. So because I'm spending a lot of time there, and I really like the vibe as well. It's a really nice place, mostly in summertime. It's amazing. Summertime is amazing. I really like the vibe of the people that is around. I'm not just talking about the community. I mean the people. I mean the tourists or locals that they are just walking around there. They are in a special mood. The Christmas time as well was really cool with the Christmas market. Again, it's one of those times of the year that people is more receptive. They show their emotions much more, so you can connect with people. So you can gather an audience in front of you, and they start singing along. And for me, that's one of the best outcomes.
Yeah, that must be an amazing feeling when you can start a song and then suddenly you've got 20 people around you all singing it back to you. That's the ultimate, isn't it? I
had more than 20.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's planned next for this year, for 2023? What's on your bucket list for this year?
Well, as I said before, I'm gonna be writing songs as much as I can. I'm gonna give it a go to songs in Spanish, so that it's my aim. I hope I'm gonna be able to do it. The only problem that I'm having is that I don't have many collaborators in Spanish for writing in Spanish, because most of the people that I know that I can collaborate with, they are writing songs in English or maybe some other languages. Like for example, I have a couple of friends that they are Germans, but I don't know a word in German, so there's no point of me writing a song in German. So that is the only downside that I'm having so far, but I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. So yeah, Yeah.
So if anyone's listening who writes in Spanish,
yeah, contact me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we look
Definitely.
forward to hearing that, and no doubt more travelling as well. Obviously, you've got to get up to 40 countries now, haven't you? So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna take me time.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, hopefully we'll have you back for an update at some point in the future. But loads of luck with everything for this year. If anyone wants to find out more about what's happening with you and where they can catch you, perhaps I don't know if you post when you're going to be on the South Bank, but how can people find out more about you anyway?
Well, basically, I'm more active on Instagram. So if someone wants to contact me or wants to see what am I doing or gigs or anything, leabaruffato.music at Instagram. I'm also on TikTok as well, but I would say I'm more active on Instagram.
Okay. Cool. So make sure you check that out. And we're going to finish up with the final track, which is, I love this track actually. It's called Hurricane. So tell us more about this one.
Well, Hurricane, it's about a specific person that I met, and when I was not expecting to meet anyone, and she appeared in my life, and literally she rocked my world. She was like literally super intense. So I always remember that, and I always thought that girl was like a hurricane because of the intensity and stuff like that. So that's how I started with that lyrical theme. I had the title in my mind and have the idea, and then started crafted the lyrics, and I also had this simple chord progression. I had it for years, I guess, in my mind. Pretty simple, but I really liked it. It was like some sort of groovy thing, and then I've crafted with the help from others as well to make it happen, and the result is Hurricane.
Yeah, and it's a great tune.
Thank you.
This one, Lea. Thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to catching up again soon.
Yeah, anytime.
Right into my beating heart. Now all I know is torn apart.